All right, local swell trackers, here we are. These are the swell periods that we can see some south swell coming. This is the 4 to 6 foot west-northwest coming in for peaking Thursday and dropping quickly. And then the swell coming up for town will be peaking on late Monday into Tuesday at solid 2 to 4 plus. It's going to be a good one with 18-second forerunners. And then we have some more west-northwest swell coming in for later in the month for a country as well. So we're looking really good in Paradise. Just wanted to jump in and show you the north and the south pack swell trains of the swell periods, and the largest or the thickest, longest periods being the southern swells. That storm was more powerful but much further away. Open ocean swells lose height, distance traveled, and those south pack storms travel much further, 3 times as far on an average than these north pack storms. But anyway, there it comes for tomorrow, and here it comes for earlier next week. All right, here's the current scenario. We have a little bit of storm activity coming up this weekend. That will send most of its energy off to our west, but we'll see some sideband swell from that over the weekend, maybe Sunday of 3 feet. And then we have this typhoon, Properoon, and that started off the Philippines and is tracking up and then veering towards us. It is a gender bender, meaning it transforms from a warm core typhoon into a cold core extratropical cyclone, or what we typically call storms in the North Pac. Let's take a look and see what happens. See how it starts to build again and track with a captured fetch towards us. These are long range. They're tricky to forecast, but I think that should work out. So a lot of storminess in the area because the jet stream, the upper large air currents have dipped down, kind of taking away our trade winds, or at least making them light and veer east-southeast, creating this regime that we've been seeing. It's going to lift a little bit more west-northwest and allow the trade winds to be a little bit more dominant than what we've predicted originally. So clicking in the animations, you see that trophiness, and then this swell right here hopefully will bring us in something around the 27th. We'll wait and see. And at the very end, day number 7, we see a couple storms spawn, and we should be having waves all the way through the end of October from those, but let's wait till we get a little bit closer. But one will be a north swell, one will be a small northwest. Now, let's go down using storm surfs models and do some hindcasting. This fetch you see right here has some 30-foot seas in it and some 45-knot winds. It's pointing our way, which is what we like, up the east coast of New Zealand. That is the guy right there that's going to be bringing us in some solid 2 to 4 plus late Monday into Tuesday. Again, let's give it, say 3 feet overhead, and there'll probably be a couple 5-foot sets at Browns in those isolated spots that we don't like to mention. Now we're going to take a look at the remnants of that fetch as it tracks off to the east, but it's still wide enough to keep a long-lasting event here for town. Then we have a little bit of a compact low popping this weekend. We might see some background swell from this. The following weekend, about the 27th, nothing to write home about, and then we kind of quiet down for a little while here. Let's take a look at the jet stream. I was telling you how it's dipped towards Hawaii. That trophiness has created the lack of trade winds. See how it lifts out of here? We get back to more normal trade winds towards the weekend. But again, this is the reason why we're seeing some swell and light trade winds. The jet is kind of dipping up above the Aleutians here, and the jet breaks up quite a bit. We'll go into a slightly quiet period. We need the jet drop down to 30 to 40 degrees latitude and stretch out past the dateline for those more wintry swells of typical 6 to 10, maybe 8 to 12 feet. And then down under, we see not much going on. The northern branch, we don't see much swell from that. We get them from the southern branch, especially when they point towards the equator. A little bit of a hint of some trophiness pointing our way towards the end of the model runs. We're going to wait and see if we get any goods from that. Now we'll take a look at the surface charts. That ridge has been pretty close to the island. It is lifting a little bit more northwest, allowing the trade winds to filter in a little bit more. These low pressures have pushed the highs way off to our east-northeast, and those are bringing us in some waves, but they're also taking the trades away a little bit. But trade winds will be reestablishing themselves as the jet stream moves up. As far as the wind flow right now, you can see a very easterly flow. It was coming up from the east-southeast the forecast was as of Monday. Now, as we head towards the weekend, we could see Friday and Saturday a little bit more rain, embedded rain in the trade wind flow, pick up a little bit more as we head towards the weekend, but mostly it'll be confined to the windward and Mauka areas, but we may see a little bit more moisture again as we head towards the weekend and into next week. Now we'll jump up to the upper regions. The water vapor loops show the brown sinking air, the stable. That's why we're pretty dry overall right here as we sit as the most isolated landmass on planet Earth. Lots of storminess up above, bringing us in plenty waves. The clouds you see down here are just the intertropical convergence zone where the trades from the north meet the trades from the south pack. Drilling down, you can see all in all, very stable, though hazy sunshine. Highs about mid 80s, lows about 72. Plenty of waves on tap as we end this week for country, and then next week town will dominate. Very dry, but again, that will change towards the weekend as the models suggest. That's your local swell tracker. Thanks for being here. We'll be back next Wednesday. Aloha.